Hey, what's going on, guys? So it's about 8 o'clock, and I'm taking a little bit of a break from writing because, I've actually been looking at it, and I've been like really getting into a lot of podcasts, and I'm really open when it comes to podcasts and like YouTube videos. Like, I'm not one track minded. I like listening to a lot of different styles and genres of things, and I don't really just devote it all to writing, because while I do want to be a better writer and I do like to listen, to audio books or read different books or listen to information that can make me a better writer, I really do have a taste and flavor for all things. And, a lot of the things that I've been listening to lately correspond to like mindset and mental strength because, I've said it in a previous podcast before that failure is just kind of one of those things that you have to accept when you decide that you really want to write, because it is such an uphill battle. And then once the battle is already done and you can be proud of yourself that you have a book, like, you still have to get it out to the public. And that's why a lot of what I listen to and a lot of what I read is really about expanding that reach and creating this like digital impression, like this digital footprint, and ways to get your name into people's minds, like as they're skimming through social media. And one of the biggest ways is to do it by exposure. And I believe that there has to be an ROI, like there has to be a return on investment, because things like how much money you spend to get that reach out there and to get this digital impression, like when it comes to things like Facebook ads and Amazon campaigns and, really letting yourself be exposed in social media. Like, look at this, like I'm doing a podcast right now. I have plans. Eventually, like once I get the equipment, I don't really believe in content for the sake of content. Like, I don't want to just put out, YouTube videos that are done from my phone. But I definitely think that, recording these podcasts could have some kind of like video component. Like when I listen to Marketing Secrets by Russell Brunson, I think, I mentioned him in podcasts before too. Like, he's one of the podcasts that I subscribe to. I think he's a brilliant individual. And, he's really conquered all forms of social media. And that's something I look up to, because not only does he have that effect, like his voice and his, what his message is, has echoed throughout the entire digital community. Like, he is all over every single facet of social media, everything that you can consume from a content point of view, even books, he's been able to do it. But this is the twist of it, because as hard as you're going to work to get your name out there and really create this digital persona, and I think that it should be you. I 100% believe that it not only should be genuine, it should be real, because I think as much as people want to, create this brand that they are something more or something different than what they are, I believe, being genuine can come across in a different way. And that little bit of vulnerability can have somebody kind of look at you and tie themselves to you in some emotional capacity where they're bought into your message, because you can feel and hear what's real. Like, if somebody's telling you a story and, as writers, we are professional liars. Like, that's 100% what we are. I think that's a direct quote from Stephen King. Like, we basically get paid to lie, because these stories that we tell, like, while they might be grounded in some fact, and, there is an age-old logic that you should write what you know and what you've experienced, this way you can write it with more emotion and with more power. I think it's really important to be able to be who you are, like be that human being, because that's what people want. People want that human being. They want that real life person. Like, I don't want this person that's just out there doing crazy stuff just to get my attention, because, it's going to be fun to watch, but I'm not going to, put the effort in and subscribe to them and, really follow their message along the way, because, they like to fall down steps or like something stupid like that. But if I buy into somebody, like if I'm watching with somebody or if I'm listening to somebody and I feel that they have a genuine message and I can have a connection with them because something that I'm feeling or going through, or something that I've been going through, and I can see how they've taken charge and how they've powered through it and how they've bettered themselves on the other side of that, I can relate to that, because nobody's life is perfect. Like, perfection is a thing that we all strive for, but it's something that we're never going to attain, but yet we're happy to be incomplete in that capacity. And that's because we're human beings. Like, we understand that perfection is nothing. Like, we can see perfection in a person, but only in a component of that person. We can think that their insecurities and imperfections actually are what create that perfection, because perfection is nothing more than an individual's perspective of somebody else. And that's why I think that being this real life person is going to matter. But that takes me to my next point. If I'm going to go through all this work and, really open myself up and open up these parts of me, and expose things in my history, things in my past, like things I want to talk about, like things that I've been through, how writing has kind of carried me through, like how that's been my vehicle to get me to whatever success that, I feel like I want, because I want that significance, but I need to give the people who are listening and watching and reading something to value, because I want to give them a payoff in following me and having that corresponding message with me and believing in me. And that's why I think that I wanted to put something together. Like I had, said on my Instagram, I wanted to do like a 10K word challenge. And in 1 week, for 1 week straight, I wanted to write 10,000 words. And then I realized that I wanted to sleep, because I'm already working, 40 to 50 hours a week. And, I do want a social life. And I think, you're going to wind up repeating words, or you're going to wind up fluffing, without even realizing, like your subconscious mind is just going to word dump all over these pages just to fill that gap. And I didn't think it was feasible. So I wanted to do something like 5,000 to 7,000 words. I think that was a more doable number, because once you pass 7,000, like if you're not on a full day off, or like you're not devoting an entire marathon session like to writing, I feel like it's counterproductive, and you're going to wind up losing all the hours you gained by mass writing in the edit process. But I did decide I wanted to do something. And this year, to match all of the work that I'm putting out to get my story out there and get my me out to the world, because I want to be associated with these books that I'm writing, I'm going to write 12 books this year. That is my goal. I think that if I can create a good enough schedule where I can write hardcore enough to put out the 7,000 words a day, within 10 days I could have a book. And I'm gonna be realistic, because there are gonna be some days that I do 5. I don't let myself do less than 5 unless there's something that was pre-planned going on for that night, in which case I don't let myself go below 2. But I think 7 is a doable number. And I want to put out 12 stories this year, like 12 full-length novels. And I want to work them into a couple different anchor series that I have in mind that I want to put together, because one of them that I've been working on, which is the Chaser series, which is kind of like a supernatural demon hunter. Most of the books I'm going to write are with a woman's point of view. I prefer to write from a woman's point of view. I think they have more emotional depth than men do. And I also think that a woman has such a wide range of reaction and emotion that you can almost write any reaction and it's justifiable. I just think that their range and ability as main characters just way outweighs men. But I think men, obviously, they are important to a story. But that's what I'm going to do. And all this work and everything I've said about the return on investment, the digital impression, and everything that we're working towards that I want to accomplish, I'm going to put out 12 books this year. And I want this podcast to kind of capture that journey, because this is going to be a part of it. Like, this is going to be the documentation, like my vocal journal. There's going to be video journals, like in vlogs that document it. But I want to see if I can do it. Like, I want to push myself. I want this bad enough that I'm going to test myself to the best of my ability in everything that I've taken on in my personal life, my career, professional, personal. I want to know if I have the capability to actually be the person that comes out at the end of this year wiser and having written 12 books, because I want to, create this website. And like, you go to my website and it's like, bam, like all the things I have are there. And these are going to be decently sized books. The Chaser series usually get anywhere between 350 and 400 pages. Obviously, like, there's some fonting issues when it comes to Kindle. Like, Kindle really only allows for like 11 size font, and it has weird spacing because it has its own adjustable sizing. But I'm going for 70,000 words, on every book. Like, that's going to be my end goal. But, I want you to come along on the journey. I think it's going to be a fun ride. I think at times, I might be venting to this podcast because I might be going like a little insane, just from all the work that I've decided to take on. But this is a personal challenge to me. Like, I'm at an age where a lot of things are going to change, and they're going to start changing for the better, obviously, because I think at this point in life, you have to have some kind of good grip on what you want and what you want to become. And regardless, whatever direction my life takes me, like wherever I wind up living, like, I know that I want to be an author. Like, at the end of the day, I can do it from anywhere in the world. I want to be an author. Like, I want that to be part of my defining characteristic. Like, when people say they knew me, like, they knew Danny, like, he wrote some kick-ass books. Like, I want them to have that ingrained in the story that is told about me, to other people. People that wait and they get emails and like they just want to read my next story. So, it's for my own significance. It's for the significance that I want to spread, because it's not about success. This is about my own personal development, and I want to write up 12 books. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go back to work. I got a few thousand more words to write out, a few more pages, do some light editing. I don't like to do all the editing in one shot because that just drives me crazy. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great night.